pause and just and then away it would go. What I'm finding now is that if I pause the podcast and if I leave for more than a few minutes and come back, I cannot um, expand the picture past the little thumbnail. And although I can hear the video, I can't, I can hear the audio, I can't see the video. So I've closed the program, started it up again, same thing. The only thing I found so far that solves the problem is to restart the computer. If you can believe that. I've got everything is up to date, the latest Mac OS, the latest version, as far as I know, of Apple Podcasts, and yet this continues to happen. So, and I haven't heard anything, seen any reports of anything like this, but I can reproduce it all too easily.
I use podcasts a lot, but I've not encountered that.
The only thing I haven't yet tried is to try a different podcast other than MacBreak Weekly. I don't know whether the issue is with them or if the issue is with the software as a whole. That I haven't. I'll do that experiment sometime later and see what difference it might make.
You can also try using podcasts on your iPhone and see if you get the same problem or if it's just isolated to the Mac.
I have not tried that yet. That's worth trying as well. Good idea.
Okay, anybody else? Question, comment?
I've got one thing. Does anybody here use, and now I'm blanking on the stupid name of it. You put your phone, landscape it on your nightstand, and
Yeah.
it goes into what's the mode called?
Stand up or something?
Standby.
Stand by.
Standby. I use that every night because I don't have a clock in my room. So I put it on my magnetic holder. There it is next on my nightstand. And that's, the clock in the room. But every night, sometimes I would say maybe, I don't know, a couple times out of 10 when I do it, it doesn't go into standby mode. And I'll have to like take it back off there and fiddle with it. And eventually I'll get it into standby mode. Anybody else experience that?
No.
I've never
Okay.
put it that way.
Yeah, it's what I do every night. And so I'm wondering like sometimes it just wants to get finicky and won't go in there. And I'm just wondering if there's something I'm doing that at those points that is causing that.
Maybe do a question on Apple support. Sometimes there's other people
Yeah.
that found out things.
And
I've also wondered what
you've
impact.
got this
Oh,
on a
sorry.
MagSafe charger, correct?
Yeah. I've
Does
also.
does
Oh,
the
go ahead.
charger is the charger also one that will charge like your watch or your
Yes.
AirPods?
Yeah.
Any difficulty in charging either of those?
No. And I have no problem charging the phone. It charges right away. It just sometimes instead of going into, standby mode, you have it landscaped.
Yeah.
And now you see like the clock up here or whatever setting, whichever one you have it on. And instead of doing that, every now and then when I put it up there, it's just I'm seeing the regular phone screen just lying on its side and it just doesn't activate standby mode occasionally. So then I gotta take it back
Check
off.
Glenn,
Yeah.
I did have that happen one time. And what was causing it for me was the angle of the charger. The thing that the MagSafe connection that you put the phone on,
Yeah.
it's not, if it were vertical, the phone would probably fall off. If it were horizontal, it won't work. So you keep tipping the thing until you get something like a 45-degree angle, maybe a slightly higher angle, and then it'll
Okay.
consistently work.
I'll give that a try. Next time it doesn't work, I'll try tilting the thing more.
Tilt it up just a little bit more and see if it operates consistently.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be.
The other thing I've wondered about using that every night is I've got a 15 Pro Max, so I've had that, for about 2 years now. But I checked last week and my battery health is down to like 83%. And I know Apple says, once you get to 80, by their reckoning, your battery is toast. And I'm wondering if using that standby mode every night, charging that thing is having a lot more wear and tear on my battery.
But it's possible.
Yeah. Might
Dave,
just
do you have Apple Care on the phone?
I did, it just ran out.
Oh, it did. I was going to say, wait until you reach 80%, and then they'll replace the battery for free.
Yeah, I think it just ran out like
Oh,
last month or something.
okay.
So, oh well. I might just have to get a new phone then.
Oh,
Yeah, I can see your heart is broken.
yeah. Okay, Glenn, I guess we're ready for you. Glenn
Okay.
studies. He did the first 20, oh, he had 26 of them. So he did the first 1 through 14 last month. It's going to start with the 15 this month.
Well, I am, although I want to double check on 14, so we'll see. Did you guys remember watching a video about visual intelligence?
I think so, but who knows?
You know what? I'll just start it with this little video and we'll go from there. So, because it's a cool little video.
Group. Next up, there's been big updates to visual intelligence. When you take a screenshot now, you'll
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
get more tools, not only just the screenshot markup tools, but you'll see highlight to search, and you can do a reverse Google image search anywhere. Here, I can circle an object, and then you'll see the option to look it up in Google or Alex. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure what that does. But you can do a reverse Google image search for an object. Maybe you see a bag or find out where someone got an accessory. The reverse Google image search will tell you where you can find it. And you can also ask ChatGPT about the image using this bubble here. You do need Apple Intelligence on your phone for these visual intelligence features to work. Visual intelligence can also auto detect dates from a screenshot. So something like this, where you might see an image on social media, but you can't actually tap the date because it's not plain text. I can actually crop this image to the date that I want. And you'll see I actually have the ability to add a date to my calendar because it's in the screenshot. I can easily edit or create the event right from there. You can even translate from screenshots using visual intelligence. And if you took a picture or used visual intelligence to capture some plain text, let's say it's a physical article or maybe a book page, now, when I take a screenshot, visual intelligence is actually going to offer to summarize the text that it detects on screen. Again, you could do this with a photo by holding the visual intelligence button on the side, or just take a screenshot of an image.
Okay, so some kind of cool little fun things with visual intelligence you can use there.
Group. Next.
All right, liquid glass. Some people like liquid glass and some people not so much. So I don't know what you guys think about it. I have not gone full liquid glass myself with all that transparent stuff. I kind of prefer the actual icons, but yeah, it's an interesting effect. So, it's this translucent glass-like effect. And it's allowing, the light and color to filter through so you can see the background behind all the buttons. And it's really most noticeable if you have this effect on and you really kind of move your phone a little bit, you can really see the light kind of glinting on it. It sort of dynamically reacts to your movement. So it's kind of cool. But like I said, not everybody's a fan of it. Some people kind of find it a little harder to work with. So the good news is that you can adjust the intensity of it, if you will. So to do this, you got to go into settings and tap on accessibility. I will say this, I've never liked how Apple uses accessibility. It feels like there are a lot of things that Apple hides within accessibility that I feel like should be easier found in other areas. And so a lot of times if I can't find how to do something, I go to accessibility and I look there. Because like I said, they hide an awful lot in accessibility. So when you go to accessibility, tap on display and text size. And then from there, you're going to go and you're going to find where it says reduce transparency. And if you click that little button there, it'll darken the menus and elements affected by the liquid glass design. And so we'll also, when we talk about 26.1 later, that they've made refinements to this that actually now make it easier to make adjustments to liquid glass. In that same display and text size menu that you're in, where you had the reduced transparency, you can also toggle the increased contrast. And so that'll help like set those elements apart. And what it does is it'll put a white outline around the elements. So if you look at those two pictures I just popped up there, you'll notice the one on the left, there's no outline. But if you look at the one on the right, can you guys all see there's a white outline around each box?
Yeah.
And so it'll just give you a little, I don't know, a little more contrast to help you, see where that stuff is. By the way, be aware that when you take these steps that I just outlined, you're going to lose some of that transparency effect. So when you use that reduced transparency or the increased contrast, you're inhibiting the whole liquid glass effect. So, if you really like the liquid glass effect, you might not want to play with that too much. But like I said, some people think it's easy to see, other people think it's hard to see. You can see here, I've got 4 screenshots side by side. And so the one on the very left, that's liquid glass with no alterations, just in its natural liquid glass state. Then the one that is center left, that's liquid glass with the reduced transparency button enabled. And that's all. Then the one on the center right there, that's liquid glass with the increased contrast enabled. And that's the only thing done to it. And the one on the far right is using both reduced transparency and increased contrast, both enabled. So you can see how it just kind of differs just gradually. It's not huge, but you can really see if you look from the left to the right, how there's not as much transparency there. So does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the camera app. Mac Observer put together a little chart here about the changes to the camera that I thought was kind of handy, so I use that. So the main thing you're going to notice when you go into the camera app is they've really tried to simplify it, and you're only going to see on the bottom, you're just going to see 2 modes, photo and video, when you're in the camera app. Those other modes, portrait, pano, slow-mo, the other stuff, they're tucked away, but if you if you're swiping between those buttons, you can get them they'll appear. But the idea is that most people are just using photo and video most of the time. So do we really need all those buttons staring you in the face? Let's kind of put those away until we really need them. They also have pop-out menus now. So things like the flash, the timer, aspect ratio, exposures, etc., all of that occur in pop-out menus instead of just crowding on the screen. And I'll show you some of this stuff, by the way. Again, you're going to see the liquid glass design, with those translucent backgrounds on stuff. So that's going to be a big feature, obviously. Here's a cool one. They have lens cleaning hints. So the camera can detect if there are smudges or dirt on your lens.
Oh, that's cool.
It'll give you an alert to clean that. And that way it helps keep your, photos from being blurry or smudged or whatever. So those are kind of the big things here, and I'll show you a little bit of this. So first thing is, in order to declutter the controls, like I said, all you're going to see at the bottom of your camera there is video and photo, real simple. And that's all that you're going to see. In the past, you saw all of those things just sitting there. Yeah. So if you want to pull up those other modes, just press like on photo or video, and you're going to swipe, and that will then appear and allow you to swipe through those.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it just keeps those 2 things right there.
Yeah, just confirmed that. Slow motion, time lapse.
Yeah. Another big change you'll notice, like I said, is that other settings for the controls on the camera, that they're not going to appear on the main screen. Instead, there's a little waffle at the top. And so if you press that waffle, you'll get a little pop-out screen there. And then you can kind of do some of the other fine tuning in there that you would do to, for your other camera settings. And so once I hit that waffle, bam, now I got, these other settings that are going to pop out. because my guess is that most people never use most of those settings to begin with. So I think it's kind of a nice idea to simplify the camera app. Oh, by the way, that little picture that you're seeing there, that's my case. I think I showed it. Did I show that to you guys last time? That's
Yes,
my
you did.
case for my AirPod Pro 3s.
Yeah,
I
you
was
did.
distinguish them from my wife, and I thought the old style, old school cassette just pops open is kind of cool. All right, you can also use your AirPods as a camera remote. Speaking of AirPods, so you can actually use them to trigger the camera as long as you have a compatible pair of AirPods. So in order to make this work, got to meet the following conditions. First, got to have an iPhone or iPad running iOS 26 or iPad OS 26. And you have to have AirPods 4 or AirPod Pro 2 or 3 to do this. And that you're using the built-in camera app, or it can be a different camera app as long as it's supported by this, but I can't tell you what's supported or what's not supported. Okay, so to do this though, the first thing you have to do is you have to configure the camera remote on your AirPods. Okay, so first thing you got to do is make sure you have your AirPods in your ears and you're connected to your phone. Okay, go into settings, and if you're connected like that, you will see on that left-hand screenshot there where it says AirPods Pro, you'll see, like if I'm connected, it'll say Glenn's AirPod Pros 3, and that'll be in my settings, and it'll be right there at the top under your account name. So click on that, and then that'll take you into the settings for your AirPods, and in there, go down to where it says Camera Remote. You got to scroll down a little for that. And you'll see it says off. So what you've got to do is if you press on that, it'll take you into the little camera remote screen there on the right-hand side. You can choose off, or you can choose the setting of press once or press and hold. So meaning I press on the stem or I press and hold on the stem. And so you have to choose which one of those you want to trigger your camera remote. Now, one thing I will tell you though, is that's going to interfere with other AirPods functions. So be aware of that you're sacrificing a different function to be able to do this. But maybe you're going to be using, you want the camera to take some pictures and whatever. And so maybe you just set it up, and then when you're done, you go and turn that back off.
How far away can you be when you do this remote?
Presumably as far as the phone and your AirPods can sense each other.
Yeah.
20
Hey, Glenn,
feet?
How far that is, I don't know, and it probably depends on your surroundings.
Glenn.
Yeah.
I read an article probably within the last year. I've never actually tried this, but it sounded fascinating. You can take a picture with your camera by pressing the up volume button. Has anybody ever tried that? You
Yeah.
don't have to hit that round button on the screen. You can take a picture with the up volume button.
I think, or the down.
Yeah, or the down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the article said you can set up your camera on a tripod for a group photo, and then you tell Siri up volume, and it'll snap the shutter.
That makes sense. Yeah. I haven't tried that, but yeah, it would make sense.
That's good.
Well, somebody should try it and let us know if it works.
Yeah, I need to try that myself. I remember
Yeah.
reading that, and I said, I need to check that out, and I never did get around to it.
The problem, Steve, is if you read enough Apple stuff or listen to enough podcasts, Apple stuff, you have all these tips, but it's like I find if I don't do it right then, like I just forget about it. I never get around to it. So what I've started to do is make lists of all these things I want to try.
Yeah,
And-
you need to do it repeatedly in order to get it
Yeah.
really in your brain.
And by the way, guys, when I do my goodies every month, that's kind of how I come up with a lot of my goodies. When I'm hearing cool things or I'm coming across cool things or I read about something, I have in Apple Notes, I've got a big thing. It's just my goodies list. And I I just always throw stuff on there and just add, and I've got dozens and dozens of things on there. And then when it's time for me to sit down and make my goodies for the month, I go back through those things I've added to my list. I'm like, oh yeah, that'll be cool. This will be cool. And that's kind of what I do, just to remember all these things that whenever I see something I think is cool. So you might try that as well, just for trying things. All right. So, you can use your AirPods as a camera remote. And there are a couple things. I've got 3 things here you can do. The first one is capture photos with AirPods. And as it says in step 1, wear at least one AirPod and confirm it's connected. This ensures the press is recognized as a camera action. Keep your iPhone or iPad positioned in a stable surface or tripod. And then open the camera app and select photo. Frame the shot as you normally would. Ensure nothing blocks the lens or subject. And then step 3, press the AirPod stem using your chosen gesture to trigger the shutter. In many regions, you'll see a 3-second countdown before the photo is taken. Okay. You can also do this by, you can record video with your AirPods. You're not just limited to photos. Okay. So it's the same process. It's just, you just want to have your phone on video instead of camera. And when you do your command on your AirPods, it'll start recording. And so then just do the same thing on your stem to stop the recording. You can also select your AirPods as the camera mic via the settings. So if you open your settings on your iPhone or iPad, and make sure your AirPods are connected in your ears, they will actually come up as an input option for sound. If you tap sound and haptics, then tap input, and the screen will list your available audio inputs, and your AirPods will come up as one of those inputs. And so you can now use that, if you're doing a video and you want to talk through your AirPods or whatever, they're now the input for video or for audio. So they've given you a lot of stuff there with your AirPods, much more stuff you can do. All right, number 18, the redesigned Photos app. So the Photos app was pretty controversial in iOS 18. I really didn't understand all the hate for it personally because, Apple likes to change things all the time. And well, I just pretty much deal with it and get used to what the change is. But people were all fired up about this for the last year. So what they've done now with library is they've simplified it, just like the camera app. So if you notice on that first picture there on the left where it says my library, if you look at the bottom, you'll see there's just 2 options, library or collections. If you're in the library tab, that's just all your photos in your library. You can scroll, going back up and down through all your photos. If you click on collections there on the right, do you guys see what I'm talking about there on the bottom? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. All right. So I want to make sure you're following what I'm saying. If you click on collections, it then takes you into the screen where from there you can go and you can see on my screen, you have a section for memories. You've got another thing of pinned photos. Below that are all the different albums that I've set up. Below people and pets. So all those little different ways of looking for stuff or memories or whatever it is, you can do in the collections tab. Now, when you're in the collections area, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will find this utilities. And if you go into utilities, you'll see there on the very right-hand side, you can find photos of all kinds of different ways of searching for things. Like I like the one there that says handwriting. Now, I haven't researched into that, but I have a hard time finding that I have 430 photos that have handwriting on them. I'm presuming it's pictures I took of something where somebody wrote on something. I don't know. I have to investigate that. So evidently I have 26 photos that have QR codes in them. So anyway, in that utilities tab, you'll find all kinds of different things. And again, when at the bottom of any of these screens, you can go back to library And I'll take you back to all your photos. All right, number 19, places visited in Apple Maps. So Apple Maps now has a visited places that will keep a secure history of all the locations you've been to. And it's basically an upgrade on the recent places that Apple Maps used to use. And essentially, it's giving you a timeline of the places that you visited, and you can filter through this and search through it. If, by the way, if you're worried about the privacy part, the visited places are stored on your device and synced across your Apple devices, but they're supposedly protected with encryption, and they supposedly can't be read by Apple. And you can remove them anytime you want. So here's how you can enable this. So go into the settings app on your phone and go into maps. And once you're in maps, find location. And then when you tap on location, you want to turn on precise location. So you want to toggle that on. And then below that, visited places, toggle that on. Now, go back to settings. And once you're back in settings, go to privacy and security. And in privacy and security, tap on location services and make sure it's turned on. And select system services and tap significant locations and routes and turn that on. Okay, so once you've got all that stuff turned on, Apple Maps will now begin recording and organizing all the places you visited. So you can see there's a number of settings you have to turn on, that it's not just turned on by default. So if you're somebody who's worried about, being tracked or whatever, that stuff's not on natively. Although at this point, I tell people who are worried about being tracked to get over it, because you're being tracked in so many ways using technology that if you're that paranoid about it, I'd say get rid of all your technology and don't use it anymore. So you can see here in that screen, it says visited places, and it'll show like by category. I can look at like, dining or things like that, or by city. And it's showing you also on a map, places you've been. And so it can be handy if you visited a place and like, oh, I can't remember how to get there. I was at that place, and, you can bring that up. Okay, number 20, natural language search. So Maps in iOS 26 is trying to use Apple Intelligence more and be a little more natural in allowing you to ask questions of it. So you can, if you want to try a search, and I just put this together. So I said, I want a good burger that's not fast food. For my search, I said, I want a gourmet burger near me. Here's how it turned out. I would say the results were mixed. So what I got here was I got a map, and it was showing all of these different places. And, and on the map, it showed the icons, little pins of these places. And then as you went down, I could pull that little screen up, and now you can see different burger places that were near me. So the results did what I asked, but some of the stuff in there wasn't close to me. So I'm thinking that the AI on this stuff still needs some tweaking, but you can filter your results some. But the one thing I thought was really odd is I couldn't find a filter in there anywhere for distance. I would think when we're talking maps, one of the big things you would be talking about is distance, and that would be a primary filter, but I couldn't find a distance filter. All right, number 21. iOS 26 has a new, in quotes, system app. You'll discover this brand new spanking app called Preview. How many of you guys have used Preview in iOS 26?
Yes.
Used it before
What do you mean you used it before?
iOS 26.
Well, technically, it didn't exist as an app before iOS 26. It was on the Mac. I mean, it's been on the Mac for years, but it's never been on the
Oh,
iPhone.
okay. I'm talking about the Mac.
Yeah, okay. Well, they finally brought it as an independent app to the iPhone. I mean, as I wrote here, I'm shocked that they hadn't done this before. Um, because believe it or not, preview on the Mac has been around since 1989. I'm not sure most of us realize that. It actually originated as part of the Next OS operating system. And I'm sure everybody knows what preview is, but if you don't, it's Apple's native app for viewing and editing PDFs and images.
Right.
So why did Apple like all of a sudden decide to bring this to iPad? My guess would be that in the past you could open and look at PDFs on an iPhone or an iPad. You could annotate stuff with markup, but there wasn't like that just one single app that handled all this. And so I think Apple just, I don't know. I don't know why now they decided to do this, but it simplifies everything. So Mac Observer made a little list here of the things that Preview can do in iOS. So you can open and view PDFs, annotate with markup, just like all the stuff you can do on a Mac with the pen, the highlighter, shapes, etc. You can sign documents with a saved signature. And to do this, if you want to sign a document, you can use your finger on the iPhone or your pencil on the iPad. I actually keep my signature saved in Preview on my Mac, so I can always just click it and add it wherever I need it. You can fill forms just like you can on the Mac. You can reorder, rotate, and delete pages, same as on the Mac. You can combine and merge PDFs. You can scan to PDF using the camera and be able to clean up the scan. You can export and share, and it's got integration with iCloud, so your edits will sync across your devices. So it'll do all that stuff for you. Personally, it's nice to have, but I'm only going to use it when I have to, because I would much rather work with a PDF on my Mac than on my phone. Maybe I'm just old that way. I'm not like all the hip kids, but I don't like editing a lot of stuff on a little tiny phone screen, even though I have a Pro Max phone. All right, 22, battery saving mode. As we know, smartphones are pretty much all about battery, because if the battery doesn't give you much life, well, you're pretty screwed. So Apple created a new method of combating battery drain, and they call it adaptive power mode. And of course, Apple's telling you that it'll prolong your battery life. Well, I don't know exactly how long. You do have to have a relatively new phone, though, to use it. It's available on the i15 Pro and Pro Max and all iPhone 16 and 17 models. So what does it do? How does it work? Well, what it's doing, adaptive power is monitoring your iPhone usage patterns so that it can find extra battery life when it thinks you're going to need it because of what you're doing. Apple says their hope is that you will never notice it at work, that it all works in the background. Apple also says that once you start using this, once it's on, it takes about a week for the system to figure out how you use your iPhone, and then it'll start working. So initially, it's just going to kind of be observing. Now, this all sounds great, but there are downsides to this, because when adaptive power starts doing its thing, what you might notice is your screen brightness will drop a little bit. Supposedly, they say it drops by 3%. There also is going to be a combination of performance adjustments and less background activity. So what does that mean for you? Well, it might mean that, your apps slow down a little bit. Whenever your battery drops below 20%, low power mode will automatically be turned on. Although Apple has said that adaptive power won't be enabled if you're doing something that is demanding on your phone. Like they mentioned things like taking pictures or videos or playing games in game mode. So I don't know if they just say, well, we'll just let your battery run out. I don't know exactly what happens with that. So anyway, if you want to put adaptive power mode on, go to your settings in your phone and go to battery. And once you go into battery, scroll down to the bottom and you're going to see where it says power mode. And you press on power mode and then toggle adaptive power mode on or off. And once you turn on adaptive power mode, it will start doing its thing. Like I said, don't be surprised if you don't notice anything right away, or maybe you don't notice anything at all. It's just doing its thing in the background.
Okay.
All right, number 23. Tint icons to match your iPhone color. So iOS 26 actually gives you, if you're into the aesthetics of it all, if you'd like to have your icons match or be within the color scheme of your background on your home screen, you can do that. And it's pretty simple, really. So long press a space anywhere on your home screen, not on an app, but on the background space somewhere. And when you do that, you're going to notice a little edit button will appear in the top left of your screen. And go ahead and tap on that edit button. And when you tap on it, you're going to get a little drop down menu and you're going to want to click on customize. And then click on tinted. See there on the bottom, I've got this green rectangle around it. Click on tinted down there in that little pop-up screen. And you'll notice the little sliders will come up, color sliders. And now you can adjust the sliders till you find the color you want to match your screen. So you can, maybe like complementary colors or something, and you can find that and you can make your screen kind of give it a customized color look. All right, number 24, selectively copy message text. So Apple has now given you the ability to copy parts of a message rather than an entire message. It used to be very frustrating because you couldn't just copy a snippet of text that was within a message. You had to copy the whole thing. So now if you want to do this, you can. Long press on any message and a contextual menu will appear. Press on the select command there. And you'll just see a copy of the handles that will now be around the text. And now you can just drag those and copy any part of that you want. All right, 25. Ask ChatGPT about on-screen content. So if you see something on your screen that you want to know more about, you can use ChatGPT to help you. It can be from a picture, it can be in a browser or whatever. So take a screenshot. By the way, if you don't know how to do that, quickly press and release the iPhone's side button and the volume up button at the same time. And then press the ask icon in the bottom left there that I have the red square around. So I have a picture here. I took a screenshot of the picture that was on my phone, and now I hit ask. And you'll see a ChatGPT dialog box will pop up, and you can type your question about the picture. So I just typed in there, what type of guitar is this? And GPT answered, the guitar is a steel string acoustic guitar, blah, 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 blah. And so it gave me information about that. So if you've got a picture, you can just take a screenshot of that or something you see on your browser, and now you can ask questions about it.
Cool.
All right, 26. We're getting there. Using your wallet to track orders. So now your wallet's going to be able to track orders. Just go into your Apple Wallet. But in order to do this, you need to be able to use Apple Intelligence. So again, depends on the phone you're using. You've got to have a recent model phone from the 15 Pros onward. So what it's going to do is Apple Wallet will look at your emails from sellers and shipping companies, and it'll give you full order details. Now, in order to take advantage of this, it's one of those things that you have to enable first. It's not just turned on automatically. So go to settings, to apps, and then go to wallet and Apple Pay. Scroll to the bottom and click on order tracking. And then when you're in order tracking, enable the switch next to mail, and you'll notice it says beta. So this is something they're still working on, and you got to turn that on. Now you're ready to track an order in the wallet app. So go to the wallet app and click on the three dots in the upper right corner. So at the top where it says wallet, in that very left image, you'll see the three dots. There, you're going to get a drop-down menu, which is in the middle left picture here. And you want to click on orders. And this will show you any current orders it finds. And so you can see I had that one from Amazon. So then I clicked on the Amazon order to get more information on it. And then it told me, the specific information about it. So you can now, instead of having to go and open up individual emails or go to a website to track orders, once you enable this, you can do all of this right from your Apple Wallet app. So that's really convenient. And since some weeks seems like we have 10,000 different orders coming from Amazon, it's nice to be able to do that in one place.
That's it. I'm out of here.
If you want more, you're going to have to wait for iOS 27 next year.
Really?
I am done. I'm out of here, as Mr. Simpson says. So there you guys go. iOS 2026.
Pretty good, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks.
Sure.
Thanks for that.
The only problem with dividing this, into 2 months is hopefully you guys remember the stuff that I showed about iOS 26 back in October. So,
Well, hey, it's not lost. It's in our website,
that is true.
and all the stuff that he's concocted is available.
Concocted. They concocted.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not, Ron.
I know that's not the quite where I should. Okay, John, you are up on Apple Care One. Just a brief.
Yeah, I raised the question during the officers' meeting whether anybody had either bought a device and selected Apple Care One, or maybe changed from existing Apple Care Plus to the new offerings for Apple Care One. Basically, what Apple Care One is it's an opportunity for you to bundle together the Apple Care coverage you might have on your devices into one plan. Their tagline is save when you upgrade to one flexible plan. There's certain, they have what's called highlighted benefits. That's the first one. You put everything together into one plan. One thing that it will do, which is an improvement on what was before, was if you get up to 3 chances to take advantage of a lost or stolen iPhone, iPad, or Apple Watch. And so if you've got the theft and loss plan and Apple Care Plus, right now that gives you 2 replacements. With Apple Care One, you get 3. The other major thing that it will do is you can add some older devices that you've got to Apple Care using this plan. Now it's difficult to find out in great detail what these devices are, but it just says protect most devices that are less than 4 years old and in good working condition. When you upgrade to a new model, that new model is automatically covered. Okay, so if you have a certain devices, and again, I was trying to find a list of which ones are eligible for this, but I couldn't find it. But if you have certain devices that are in good condition, that are less than 4 years old, you can add them to AppleCare One. And then when you decide that you want to replace that device, the AppleCare One will automatically cover that new device, unless I suppose if you exclude it.
So how much is it, John?
$19.99 a month. And if you want to add other devices, you can add other devices for $5.99 a month each. Now, let's see. I put in my thing here. I needed to. I will give this to Glenn to Ron rather to put onto the website. For now, I just follow along. I'm going to go to a link on the Apple page that tells more about this. Now, what this will show you is when you bring up this page. I wonder if I can put this page in the notes. Let's see. If I copy this and
Okay, John, we're going to move on, I think.
okay. Well, all right. I'm not going to worry about copying the thing now, but basically what this will allow you to do is you can select the page on that I will send the link to when I send it to Ron, and you can select iPhone, Mac, iPad, whatever it is, and then it will tell you what the current coverage would be. Now, for example, if you've got a phone, your existing phone is going to cost you $10 a month. So if you've got maybe two phones plus another device, you'll end up saving money if you bundle them together. If, however, you've got something relatively inexpensive, where the AppleCare is inexpensive, like say a watch, that's only $2.99 a month. So if you've already got three devices and you were going to add your watch as a fourth device, you're falling behind, because you have to add it for $5.99 a month, but you could already get it separately for $2.99 a month. So it makes no sense to do that. Similarly, if you've got headphones, AppleCare per month on headphones is $1.49. So it doesn't make sense to add that as a fourth device. So you have to play this carefully and figure out which devices you've got, which devices either have AppleCare or which ones you want to add the AppleCare to, and then just price it out one at a time to see whether or not it's an advantage. Okay. Now,
Okay.
I did find, just very quickly, in my case, that
Come on, John.
we recently bought two phones and a watch, and the AppleCare per month for those totals $27.51. If I bundle those together on AppleCare, it goes down to $19.99 for a savings of $7.52 a month, or $90.24 a year. So you can see that depending on what devices you've got and which ones you might or might not want to add, you might be able to save some money. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Our next thing is iOS 26.1. And if you've upgraded, you might seen some of the things that the video is going to talk about. I've upgraded to all my Mac, my phone, my watch, even my Apple TV. Everything seems fine. So I don't think there's any reason to wonder about it. In any case, do you see this video?
Yes.
Okie doke.
Officially released iOS 26.1, and though it's not a major update, there are some really useful changes that are worth checking out. One of the biggest changes is a new toggle for Apple's liquid glass design language. You can now choose between clear or tinted modes by heading into Settings, Display and Brightness, and then Liquid Glass. Clear mode keeps the highly transparent layered look that Apple introduced with iOS 26, so basically what you're running now, while tinted adds more opacity and contrast to help with readability, especially in bright environments. A lot of users, when Liquid Glass was originally released, kind of found it to be too see-through or just hard to read, so this small addition actually makes a pretty big difference, especially in areas like the notification shade on your lock screen. There's also a new option to disable the lock screen camera shortcut. Under Settings, Camera, Lock Screen, Swipe to Open Camera, you can now completely turn off the swipe left to open gesture. If you've ever accidentally opened your camera while pulling your phone out of your pocket, this one's for you. really this one's for me because I do it all the time. Next, Apple's made a change to alarms and timers. So when an alarm goes off, you now need to slide to stop it instead of just tapping. Tapping still snoozes the alarm, but if you want to dismiss it entirely, you have to slide it. It's a small tweak, but it helps prevent those accidental oversleeps when you meant to just hit snooze. And also it kind of gives me that slide to unlock nostalgia that we used to have with the iPhone. Apple Music also gets a little shortcut improvement. You can now swipe the now playing bar left or right to skip or go back to a track without opening the full player view. It's one of those simple, smaller changes that makes things just a lot smoother and easier to deal with. You can also create custom workouts in the fitness app on iPhone. There are options for selecting workout type, estimated active calories, effort, duration, and start time. As far as the Apple TV app goes, it now has a new, more colorful icon that adopts the liquid glass aesthetic that Apple added alongside the Apple TV Plus name change. So Apple is no longer referring to its streaming service as Apple TV Plus and is instead just calling it Apple TV, like the app. There are also a bunch of visual refinements across the OS too. So settings, headers are now left aligned. Folder names on the home screen are also aligned to the left, and parts of the phone keypad, Safari tab bar, and photo scrubber have been subtly refreshed to fit better with the liquid glass design. They're small touches, but they kind of help, again, everything be a bit more consistent. For Apple Intelligence and live translation users, iOS 26.1 now adds new language support. Live translation now works with Japanese, Korean, Italian, and both traditional and simplified Chinese, while Apple Intelligence adds Danish, Dutch, Norwegian, Portuguese, Swedish, Turkish, and more. Finally, there's a new background and security improvements toggle inside privacy and security. It basically replaces the older rapid security response system, giving you more control over how those smaller updates are installed automatically in the background. So iOS 26.1, again, isn't a massive update, but it's kind of the one that tightens up a lot of the annoying bugs and gives you a more readable UI, some smarter customization, and better day-to-day polish, which is, again, what you want to see with these refinements over the course of this release cycle. So would love to hear from you in the comments down below. How do you feel about liquid glass now that we're a few months in officially? Do you like this new update with the tinted liquid glass option that you could kind of tone things down a bit? Are you going to use that? Let me know in those comments down below. This is Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.
So that's kind of a quick update. There's a huge amount of different things that are there in 26.1, but we'll put some of that in our website too. Our next thing is, I'm sorry, what?
Ron, can I say something about that?
Yes, please.
I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but since I updated to 26.1, my phone battery is dropping like, I mean, crazy. I burn through battery much faster. So has anybody else experienced this? No? Okay.
My Mac is experiencing battery problems I never had before I went to 26. I don't know whether I'm on 0.1 or not. I think I'm on 0.01.
Okay.
Then
It's
go to 0.1, see if it's different.
it's like I leave it at 60% and come back 3 hours later and doing nothing, and it's down to 10%.
Generally, I have noticed with almost every update, when I say major update, full step updates, I find usually there's some battery issues, and then I find Apple will put out the either 1 or 0.1 updates, and usually that helps with that battery drain. But I found that often, but this has kind of worked.
Save Pilot, I can save when I road trip safely. Or if you're gonna say I save Pilot miles, I can save when I staycation. Yeah, with
Sorry.
Okay.
That's you?
So,
I'm trying to get next to the thing we're doing. Okay.
yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Oh, I'm done. Okay. Let's see. Our next thing, officers talked about at our last meeting, the image playground, and none of us really knew anything about it. So I'm going to do a quick video of that. I think this will work.
Safe Pilot, you can save when you drive. Or with Safe Pilot miles, You can save when you don't.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Here are some ideas for how you can use the Image Playground app. So the new Image Playground app that's part of Apple Intelligence for your Mac, iPhone, and iPad can be used to generate all sorts of different images. Here's some ideas for how you can use that. So first, since the Image Playground app is tied into your photos and can easily create images from the people you've got there, it's ideal for creating avatars for use on social media sites and other places. So here you would just go to where it says person at the bottom, click choose, and then choose the face from your photos library. And then it will generate some images there. But you don't have to stop here. You can personalize this with various things like these suggestions or just type your own. So for instance, if I wanted to use space as one modification, I would get this, but I could keep going. So for instance, I can do sunglasses and then I would get this. And if you don't like the first image generated, you can always flip through and we'll generate more. It'll keep going until you find one that you like. And then you can click on the three dots here and you can copy this and usually paste it in somewhere, or you could save it as an image and use that as an avatar somewhere. When you click done here after you've saved it, it's going to appear here in your list of projects. So you can see it there. You can always go back to it and modify it or export it again. And by the way, an easy way to export this is actually to drag and drop. When you do that to a Finder window or the desktop, you get a regular image that you can use anywhere you want. It's so easy to create these, so you can create a whole bunch of different ones for different situations, for holidays or moods or whatever. And if you'd rather not the avatar look like you can simply go to the appearance option here. And here you choose a skin color and a basic appearance like this. And then you could further modify it if you want, just by adding more and more terms. And then continue to flip through to find what you like. By the way, if you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/.
Okay. I'm going to end it there. It has a longer video, but we'll have that on the website. But I did have this. Let's see if I can find it.
How about yourself as Sergeant Schultz or something?
Do you see this picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Glenn, John, Steve, and me. I didn't have you, Alan, because it said that your picture that I had was too fuzzy. So I didn't do this. But this is what this is what it did for all of these.
John, you got hair.
I got my hair back. Yeah.
Yeah, John. It did put
I like Steve's with the backwards baseball cap.
Yeah, I'm looking cool there, don't I?
yes. And I don't know why it said put me with a suit or something, a necktie, but anyway.
Maybe it thought you looked busy. Well, you know what's interesting is it gave you a tie and it took mine away.
That's true, because you actually had the thing and it didn't put you. So I don't know. But anyway, those are just a couple things that just showed you how you can play with it, do your grandkids, whatever you have to do with all the different things.
You know, Ron, I would say yours turned out really well on there. I don't think mine looks anything like me. And I've played with the playground thing, and it's like I'm always disappointed at the images I get from there.
Well, like they said in the video, you can scroll and it'll just keep doing other things, and sometimes you like them, and sometimes you don't.
I keep using descriptors, and I always feel like the results are just terrible. I'm not cut out for Image Playground, I guess.
Okay. Our next thing is Steve's gonna.
I'm not complaining because it not only did it put my hair back, it took away some of the wrinkles in my face. So this cannot be bad.
Well, I guess we could have put it in there. Please do all the wrinkles.
Anyway, look like a prune.
Steve's going to talk about iPhones and satellites. Just a quick thing that he came up with today.
There we go. Here. Oh, I got all kinds of clutter in the way. Okay, everybody see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, the main source for this presentation is a financial and investment news source called Seeking Alpha. An interesting article appeared just today about iPhones and satellite connections. Come on, you're supposed to. There we go. Apple's initial step into satellite connectivity began with iPhone 14. Phones released since then, plus Apple Watch Ultra 3, have the capability to make emergency SOS calls through satellite. In other words, if you're out in the middle of nowhere with no cellular coverage, you can still call for help by way of a satellite connection if you have an iPhone 14 or later or an Apple Watch Ultra 3. But now, Apple's expansion into satellite technology is starting to look less like a feature for just emergencies and more like a deliberate long-term infrastructure investment. They're getting serious about this, folks. Apple has an in-house satellite connectivity group, which has a 5-year partnership with Globalstar. Globalstar allows Apple control over a portion of the satellite's network exclusively for iPhone services. And now it has come out that Apple is hiring engineers and network specialists with experience in satellite data systems, ground stations, and space communications architecture. These signals suggest the company is developing expertise that extends way beyond just consumer features. Apple is moving to reduce its dependence on third-party providers. The company now produces its own chips, modems, and cloud services. Satellites may be next. The word among insiders is that Apple will soon allow developers to add satellite connections to their apps. Apple Maps and Messages will work off satellites. Users will be able to connect to a satellite system while indoors. I found that very interesting. And the most interesting feature that has come to light is 5G non-terrestrial network capabilities, which is expected in next year's iPhone series. Did you catch
If
that?
you're an astronaut, you
I guess so. You take your phone with you and you can call home. But did you catch what that is? 5G service from virtually anywhere on the planet.
Is this got to do with, I mean, T-Mobile offers 5G calling now. You know, is that part of that, or is that
Everything I've read about 5G says that as fast as it is, they have to have a zillion times more towers.
right?
One every city block. But Apple and Elon Musk are talking about 5G from satellites, which is beyond my understanding of the technology. So there you go. So that's all I have. Were you impressed?
Don't you have to have a subscription though to
Oh,
it?
I'm sure. I'm sure they will be making money off of that.
Did you read anywhere that it's the price it is?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No, I have covered pretty much in a nutshell what that article was about. I've included 2 links to articles on this subject, if you want to read more, but neither one of them went into what the cost will be.
Price. Okay.
Maybe somebody else has some additional information that I don't.
Maybe it's just a too new of a thing.
If you want to send text, you can do that right now if you're out with some phones, right? Just you know, they advertise.
I think just for emergency stuff, though. I don't
Right,
think it
right.
is. Yeah. I think the gist of, from what I've read about this, that it's more kind of a future projects thing for some of that. But as far as where it's leading, it's kind of guesswork as to where that might take us eventually.
Steve, did you see anything on that, on any of those articles about Apple launching their own satellites, or are they talking about utilizing satellites that are already in orbit?
Right now, they're using existing satellites and proposed satellites manufactured by other people. There was speculation at one time that Apple would put up their own satellites, but I don't think that's gone very far.
Just like their own cars, right?
Right.
Well, they've got more wealth than the GDPs of a lot of countries, so they could probably do it if they wanted to.
Yeah. So that's probably a year or two or three into the future, but I thought it was interesting and it would be interesting. to toss
Oh,
out.
for sure.
Stay tuned.
Well, Steve,
Thanks, Steve.
I am as astounded as you are about the prospect of 5G coming from a satellite, considering that, as you say, with the current system, you have to have a tower just about every block or maybe every other block at best. So how
Yeah.
they managed to pull that off is, well, at least if somewhere between impressive and miraculous, I think.
And penetrating into buildings too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that too, yeah.
For 5G.
indoor satellite, that's weird.
Yeah.
Think of the power, they have to have on the
Well,
satellite.
I was going to say with the power needs, you've probably heard a lot and read a lot about the power needs just for AI stuff, let alone, faster communications. I kind of wonder if maybe that's not the way to go though with satellite. And I'm no expert in this area. I don't know enough, but
Harder long term, yeah.
from the ground.
Well, we still need to figure out how to get, how we had under earlier presidents, we had rural electrification. We need rural connection to the internet.
Well,
Everywhere.
if we're using satellites, that might have a
Right,
greater.
right. Yeah, that would
Broadband.
If you bring up coverage maps of all the major cell phone carriers, you look at my home area, West Central Illinois, there's this void area.
right.
That, I mean, it's
Yeah,
a nice
that's true.
rural area. It's very scenic. It's all farmland, but
But if you live there, you wouldn't be connected.
yeah, they have their local Adams Net and some other regional services. But I do pretty well with Verizon, but AT&T, forget it.
I also wonder if we start using satellites for that, that would eliminate some of the problems with topography and towers. Like my street, my neighborhood's in a kind of a little shallow valley, and a lot of the towers kind of just go a little bit over us, and so I don't get a really strong cell signal on my street, and parts of my street I lose it altogether.
Yeah, David has the same problem.
A shadow, then you're out of luck.
Yeah,
for sure.
But if they can nail this, then cell towers will become obsolete.
Well, I don't think so, because if you have a thing like Yankee Stadium and you want, got 10, 20,000, 30,000 people in there that want cell phone coverage, you can't do that from satellite, I don't think.
That's probably true.
Who knows though, where it might lead.
Well, at the very least, it would be a nice supplement to the existing infrastructure, including cell towers.
Yeah.
When I go to a ball game, one more comment. When I go to a ball game, before Busch Stadium offered Wi-Fi, everybody there was on cellular service, and it was slow.
Yeah.
Everything ground to a halt. Wi-Fi has sped it up some. I can't remember if 5G is available down there or not, but supposedly satellite can handle everybody.
Well, remember Starlink.
Right.
Starlink is out there. Elon's favorite, one of his favorite toys.
Yeah. I've seen Starlink. I've been out on a dark night, get away from light pollution, and I was able to pick out Starlink.
Oh,
You could see it as in the sky, you mean, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're very evenly spaced and they follow each other.
Especially when they first take off, there's like a trail of them. But yeah. But
Well,
that's
5G versus 4G. 5G is you've got to have these. The big towers are obsolete. You have to have small towers fairly close together to saturate a neighborhood. I mean that's
Right.
the way it works, and I just think we go several times a year to our friend's farmhouse up in rural northwest Pennsylvania, and we're down in a valley, and there is no cell phone signal at all. We were lucky enough to get a DSL internet on the obsolete phone lines, and they're talking about, we got to talk to the provider there, and they said fiber is coming. It's not there yet. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 years they'll put fiber there, because they had but otherwise, I mean, you're just down in a hole. And it was funny when we'd get to one spot, we'd come out of that valley and go to a stop sign, and there was a spot where you had cell phone access, and you'd find 2 or 3 people parked there in their cars, talking, et cetera, et cetera. But that's, I mean, the valleys are so deep, and of course these towering trees, and it blocks a lot of the satellite signals. And we have our Sirius XM, and it blocks the hell out of it. So yeah, there are places where it's bad. I don't know if Starlink would work there. Probably have the same reaction that we have with Sirius XM. But yeah, I just, yeah, it's 5G is good when you get a good signal, but yeah, it's tough in these rural areas. Just the way they did rural electrification back in the 30s, the broadband needs to be done the same way. I mean, I think Biden had signed something to get it out there. I don't know if Trump left it alone or not, but I mean, he's been basically ripping out anything Biden did and then putting it back with his name on it. So who cares?
Okay, our next thing, or actually second to last thing, is how iCloud works. And some people probably
iCloud, a backup service, a cloud sync services, or just another Apple lock-in. Is it actually saving your data or just syncing it? Most people don't really know how it works. But if you're using iCloud the wrong way, you could be wasting storage, losing money, and even putting your personal data at risk. In this video, you'll finally understand iCloud like never before. You'll learn exactly what iCloud is, how to set it up the right way to get the most out of it, something most people don't do, and the biggest mistakes to avoid. Plus, we'll cover the must-use iCloud Plus features, when to opt out, when to upgrade, and whether it's really worth paying for. Let's get started. iCloud is Apple's way of keeping your data seamlessly available across all your devices. But there's one big misconception. iCloud is not a traditional backup. Instead, it's a sync service, meaning any changes you make on one device instantly apply everywhere else. Think of iCloud as a giant storage locker. Your devices don't store all the data themselves. Instead, they act as windows looking into iCloud. This means your photos, contacts, notes, and files are stored in iCloud and can be accessed from any device or even a web browser at iCloud.com. Some data...
Wait, is this you when trying to build a website? Because I got you.
Oh? Check out Bluehost. They have an AI site creator that makes it a breeze to build your own professional looking site in minutes. All you have to do is type in some details about your business, and the AI site creator will generate 3 awesome designs for you to start with. Then you can customize it.
Like iCloud keychain, messages, and iPhone backups are only accessible through Apple devices. Your device keeps a temporary cached copy of synced content, but not necessarily the full version. So the question now, can iCloud be used as a true backup? Yes, but only if you turn off syncing for certain services. By default, iCloud syncs your data. But if you disable iCloud Photos, iCloud Drive, Notes, and other syncing services, iCloud starts functioning as a full backup tool instead. This means your device data is stored securely in iCloud without syncing changes across devices. When setting up a new device, you can restore everything exactly as it was. According to Apple, iCloud helps keep your data safe in two main ways: syncing and backing up. If you're using iCloud Photos, iCloud Drive, or Notes, your information automatically syncs across all your devices whenever you make a change. Any data that isn't regularly synced is stored in your iCloud backup, which takes periodic snapshots, making it easy to restore on a new device. What happens when you delete something? Here's the catch with iCloud syncing. Deleting a photo, contact, or note on one device deletes it everywhere. Accidental deletions are permanent, unless restored from the recently deleted folder within 30 days. If you turn off iCloud for a service, Apple will ask if you want to download a local copy before disconnecting. Let's talk about setting up iCloud across all your Apple devices. To get started, make sure you're signed in with the same Apple ID on each one. That's the key to keeping everything in sync. Once you're signed in, you can choose which apps and features you want to sync to iCloud. On your iPhone or iPad, open Settings, tap on your name, then select iCloud. From here, you'll see a list of apps and features. Tap any of them and turn on Sync this device. If you want to see more, just tap See All, then toggle on anything else you'd like to sync. All right, now let's slow down for a second, because this next part trips a lot of people up. iCloud Photos. When you turn on iCloud Photos, every change you make, like deleting, editing, or adding new photos, happens across all your devices. Deleted a photo on your iPhone, it goes to Recently Deleted and stays there for 30 days before being permanently removed. Now, here's a smart feature: Optimize iPhone Storage. This is on by default when you sync photos with iCloud. Let's say you have 100 gigabytes of photos. Instead of filling up your iPhone, it saves space by keeping smaller, lightweight versions on your device. The full resolution originals stay safely stored in iCloud. Need the high-quality version? Just tap the photo. It downloads in seconds, ready to use. If you ever see sync paused, don't worry. Just tap Sync now. Also, make sure low power mode is off and you're connected to Wi-Fi or cellular. To check your sync status, go into the Photos app, tap your profile picture in the top right, and you'll see it right there. Now, if you're thinking about turning iCloud Photos off on one of your devices, remember, it stops syncing new content, and that device won't get photo updates from the cloud anymore. So before you do that, be sure to select Download and Keep Originals. That way, you won't lose any full-res files stored in the cloud. In brief, if you want to turn sync on or off for your content, open Settings, tap your name at the top, then go to iCloud. From there, toggle the switch next to the content you want to manage. If you're turning sync off, your iPhone will ask if you want to delete from this device or keep a copy. Make sure to choose the option that works best for you. Now let's talk about iCloud Backup. iCloud Backup includes all the information and settings stored on your device that aren't already synced to iCloud apps like Photos, Notes, or Contacts. To check or enable it, go to the iCloud page in Settings and tap iCloud Backup. Then turn on Backup this device to enable automatic backups. You'll also see a small status dot. Green means your device is fully backed up, and you'll see the date of the last backup. Orange means the backup is paused. Gray means your device hasn't been backed up yet. To manage or customize your backup and choose which apps are included, tap your device name under iCloud Backup. Then tap Show All Apps. From there, you can turn off backup for any apps you don't want to include. It's a great way to save space and focus only on what matters to you. Let's shift over to another iCloud feature that Mac users often overlook: Desktop and Documents folders in iCloud Drive. When you turn this on, your Mac's Desktop and Documents folders are uploaded to iCloud. That means you can access those files from any device: iPhone, iPad, or even from iCloud.com. It's convenient, yes, but it also takes up iCloud storage, and if you delete something from your Mac, it's gone from iCloud too. Here's how to turn this feature on or off. Step 1. Click the Apple menu and open System Settings. Step 2. Click on your name at the top, then tap iCloud. Step 3. Select iCloud Drive. Step 4.
The instant fix for snorers without touching their nose. Most people waste money on fixes and still end up sleeping in separate rooms because of their snoring.
Now just check or uncheck desktop and documents folders. Turning it on uploads those folders to iCloud. Turning it off moves them back to your Mac, usually into a folder called iCloud Drive, Archive. All right, last thing. Some files in iCloud Drive might show up on your Mac, but they're not actually downloaded. If you see a little cloud icon next to a file, it's stored online. To download it, just right-click and choose Download Now. Want it to stay local? Right-click again and select Keep Downloaded. That way, even if you're offline, those files are still right there on your Mac. Most people think iCloud is set it and forget it. But did you know simple mistakes could lead to lost data, wasted storage, or even security risks? Let's make sure you're not making these common iCloud mistakes. Mistake number 1, assuming iCloud backs up everything. Most users believe iCloud automatically saves everything, but that's not true. By default, iCloud doesn't back up some third-party app data. Take WhatsApp, for example. As per WhatsApp's guidelines, you have to back it up manually from within the app itself. To check that, open WhatsApp. Then tap Settings. Next, tap Chats. Then choose Chat Backup. And finally, make sure backup is enabled. Otherwise, you may back up your entire device but miss WhatsApp. If you have iCloud Drive turned off, the app will ask you to enable it. So, enable iCloud Drive and back up WhatsApp from the app settings. Mistake number 2, wasting storage on old backups. iCloud often keeps backups of old devices, even ones you no longer use. These can eat up your limited 5 GB of free storage or your paid iCloud plan so fast. Here's how to fix it. Open Settings. Tap your name, then tap iCloud, then tap Manage Storage. Tap Backups. Select and delete any old device backups you don't need anymore. Mistake number 3, not managing iCloud storage efficiently. Letting iCloud fill up with junk files slows everything down. Common culprits: downloads from Safari, old documents, and duplicates across devices. Here's how to fix it. Open the Files app. Look for iCloud Drive, then sort by size, and clean out anything you no longer need. Also, go to Settings, tap your name, then tap iCloud, then choose Photos, then tap Manage Storage. Tap Review Photos and Videos. You'll see duplicates, old screenshots, and more. Again, clean out anything you no longer need. Mistake number 4, not verifying Find My iPhone. If Find My iPhone is turned off, you won't be able to track your device if it's lost or stolen. Even worse, if you sell your phone without disabling it, the new owner won't be able to activate it. Here's how to fix it. Open Settings. Tap your name. Then, tap Find My. Make sure Find My iPhone is turned on. But what if you don't have access to your device? Maybe it's lost, or you already sold it. You can still turn off Find My, track the device, or even mark it as lost remotely. That's exactly what I cover in a short 2-minute video. Don't miss it out. Check the link in the description below. Now that we've covered the common mistakes, let's go over a few powerful iCloud features that most people overlook. Feature number 1, hide my email. Tired of spam and privacy issues? Hide My Email lets you create random, disposable addresses that forward to your real inbox. Protect your real email when signing up for websites. Block trackers and unwanted marketing. Create unlimited aliases for free. Here's how to use it. Go to Settings. Tap your name. Then tap iCloud. Next tap Hide My Email. Then tap Create New Alias. Or, when signing up on a website, choose the Hide My Email option if available. Feature number 2, use MailDrop for sharing large file. Sending big files over email, MailDrop makes it simple. You can send up to 5 GB per file, no extra apps needed. Works directly inside Apple Mail. Sends a download link instead of attaching the file. The recipient doesn't need an iCloud account. Here's how it works. Just attach a large file in the Mail app. Mail Drop activates automatically when the file size exceeds the standard limit. Feature number 3, iCloud Private Relay. Want to keep your online activity private?
Hey, it's Adam with Vanish. All right, so what you've just seen right there is
Private Relay hides your IP address and encrypts your traffic, making it harder for websites and advertisers to track you. Keeps browsing private in Safari. Blocks location-based and profile tracking. Works automatically once turned on. Here's how to turn it on. Go to Settings. Tap your name. Then tap iCloud. Then tap Private Relay. And switch it on. Feature number 4. Access iCloud from anywhere. Even if you don't have your Apple device with you, you can log in at iCloud.com to manage your data remotely. Check your iCloud email, calendar, and contacts. View or download files from iCloud Drive. Use Find My iPhone to locate or erase lost devices. Try it now. Go to iCloud.com and sign in with your Apple ID. Once you're logged in, you'll see a clean grid of app icons, just like on your iPhone or iPad. Here's what you can do. Mail check, reply to, or delete emails from your iCloud inbox. Photos, browse, download, or delete images in your iCloud photo library. iCloud Drive. Open saved files, rename them, upload new ones, or move them to folders. Contacts view, add, or edit saved contacts, or export them as a backup. Calendar. Check upcoming events or create new appointments. Notes, view, and edit all synced notes, even from a browser. Find My iPhone. See your devices on a map, play a sound, mark as lost, or erase if needed. It's like having your entire Apple ecosystem in your pocket, even when your actual devices aren't with you. So, is iCloud actually worth using? It depends on how you use your devices. iCloud is great if you have multiple Apple devices and want seamless access to your data. It keeps everything in sync automatically, so your files are always available, no matter what device you're on. And if your phone is ever lost or stolen, your data is still safe in the cloud. But iCloud is not ideal if you only have one device. In that case, local storage might be better, and you assume it's a backup. If you delete something, it's gone everywhere. So before you rely on it, make sure you really understand what iCloud is and what it isn't. And before upgrading or canceling, ask yourself, how are you actually using iCloud? Looking for more tips like this? Click one of those amazing videos and keep watching.
He has lots of good info. I'm sorry about all the ads that popped up, but
Oh, it's fine.
That was very energy dense.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, you have to kind of go back
I could have
and
watched. I could
see
have
what's
watched it a
useful for
couple
you.
times, yes. You say she just goes from one and then the next and then the next. I like that when we get to discussion, like when we talk about here. So,
Does everybody use iCloud?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to find old devices on it. I can't seem to find that. I knew I used to have other phones that were still on here,
On the iCloud drive?
someplace on it.
Maybe
You
you
just
do.
don't have those saves anymore.
Ron, was that video from Apple?
Gurus or something. Apple Gurus?
I've got it here. Let's see. Yeah, Apple Gurus.
Oh, I had a question for everybody. How many people have fiber at their home?
Do you mean like AT&T fiber or just?
No, well, AT&T has it and T-Mobile says they have it. I haven't seen it, but
It's available to me, but I don't use it.
Alan, I have i3 broadband fiber.
I have Spectrum, which I don't think uses fiber.
Well, Spectrum is coming out with their own fiber. I mean, that's what they've announced. I haven't, you know,
I have Spectrum and I get about 650 meg up and down on my speed.
well, that's fiber then, yeah. Equivalent to it anyway.
But it's not fiber, it's coax.
Coax, okay.
Yeah, that's what I think I have too.
I have 2 gig.
You don't get any hesitations, eh?
Well, if I'm plugged in, I mean, obviously when I'm, using Wi-Fi, I usually will, lately I've been getting about 600 megs over Wi-Fi, which is pretty good.
Mhm.
I've got Wi-Fi 7 routers, but the problem with all that is my devices, unless you have very new devices, they're not going to be able to handle that. So
Yeah, mesh networks.
yeah, that's what
Mesh
I've got.
networks are really nice.
Yeah, I've got an Orbi mesh network, and for those interested, they just came Netgear, which makes Orbi.
Yep.
They just came out with an affordable, lesser Wi-Fi 7 version, which is what I bought, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. I think it was something like $275, $250. Because for a lot of these Wi-Fi 7 networks, you're, $1,000 or whatever.
Is that just so you can get it all over the house? You got such a mansion there that
Yeah, well, I got to take care of the little people around me.
Right.
No, I'm a big. I like the mesh networks because I feel like it gives a much more consistent coverage across the multiple floors of my house. It won't send the mesh for me. I found doesn't send the signal as far afield, but like I said, I feel like it's much more consistent where I want it. Before I went to mesh, I could go sit in the back of my backyard and get just as good a signal as I could in the house. Since I went to the mesh network, I start to lose it as I go back there in my yard, but I find I don't have the little, drops and black holes inside my house.
Where do you buy that
Where'd I buy the router?
mesh?
I think I got it on Amazon.
I got mine from Costco. Mine's about, I guess, about a year and a half old. It's the Netgear Nighthawk.
Nighthawk, yeah,
And,
that's.
I'm
Are they all about the same?
I'm sorry, what?
Are they all about the same? All these different versions?
I imagine they give you pretty good performance. I think you just have to, read the reviews before you buy. I mean, I think the reviews for Netgear's Nighthawk were pretty good, so that's why I took it. But I have my house is the Faraday cage house. It's got the plaster walls are it's a wire mesh, and then they push the plaster into the wire mesh, and that's in the walls and the ceilings, and it really just kills cell phone signals and Wi-Fi. So what I did is I purchased 2 sets of the Nighthawks from Netgear, and I have the one base unit as a spare, and then I set up satellite units on each floor of the house, and it covers it. I'm fine. I get excellent coverage wherever I am.
In my opinion, again, my opinion, but I think Netgear, some of their different brands, the Orbis, the Nighthawks, to me, I think they make the best gear, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I'll stick with them until they crap on me, and then when they do, I'll switch to. I'll find something else. I mean,
which will happen.
Oh, I know, I know. I mean, in my upstairs computer room, I've got my old original Macs that I have, those ones that are about 35 years old now. Uh, and I bought a accelerator card for one of those, and it was a lifetime guarantee uh, 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 with this company, and 6 weeks later they went under. So, lifetime is 6 weeks.
Lastly, for tonight, we have a customized control center in iOS 26. It's only 3 minutes and
Can fully customize the control center on your iPhone? With iOS 26, Apple makes it easier than ever to add, rearrange, resize, or even delete controls so you only see the shortcuts you use the most. Let me show you how. First, swipe down from the top right corner of your screen to open the control center. If you keep swiping down, you'll see that the control center is now divided into multiple groups of controls. You can also jump between groups by swiping through the icons on the right edge of the screen. Swipe up through those icons to go back to the first group. Many of these controls have extra options. For example, touch and hold the top left group of controls, then tap the AirDrop button to instantly open AirDrop settings. Or touch and hold the camera button to quickly take a selfie, record a video, or snap a photo. These long press shortcuts save you a lot of taps. To start customizing, tap the Add button in the top left corner of the control center. From here, you can rearrange, remove, resize, or even create new sections of controls. To rearrange, drag a control to a new position. For example, you might move flashlight to the top so it's always easy to reach. To remove, tap the Remove button in the upper left of a control. This is perfect if you never use something like an Apple TV remote. To resize, drag the handle in the bottom right corner of a control. You can make certain controls bigger for quicker access. To create a new section, tap the bottom circle icon on the right edge, then tap Add a control to place controls in their own group. You can also drag a control off the bottom of the page to create a new section instantly. If you want to add more, scroll to the bottom and tap Add a control to open the gallery. From here, you can choose from dozens of shortcuts like low power mode, screen recording, notes, wallet, and more. Another useful tip, touch and hold the control center power button in the top right corner until you feel a vibration, then drag the slider to power off your iPhone. No need to use the physical keys. When you're finished making changes, simply swipe up from the bottom center of the screen to close the control center. Your new layout is saved automatically. Try grouping your most used controls together. For example, keep Wi-Fi, hotspot, and Bluetooth in one section for quick toggles, and place productivity shortcuts like notes, calculator, and screen recording in another. This way, your control center feels personalized to your daily routine. And that's it. You now know how to add, edit, remove, and organize controls in iOS 26. If this video helped you customize your control center, give it a like, and check out my other iOS 26 tutorials for more ways to master your iPhone. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos like this.
Was that the same Apple
Quickest way
Guru?
to clear out stuck poop.
The number one food for regular BMs, huh? Okay.
I don't know where that came from, but anyway.
I don't think that was the same people, was it?
I don't know.
You know, I never liked the videos that use automated voices. I find them very hard to listen to.
They talk really fast.
It's just, yeah, I'd rather listen to a real person talk and the inflections of their voice and the little ums and whatever. Just more human to listen to. But a good informational video if you don't already know how to use Control Center.
Well, all those will be on our website, and so if you
Want to
useful
watch them a couple
information, you can kind of slow them down.
Well, you can stop it and you can try something while it's going,
Exactly.
It's a shame you can't pick an accent, when you're listening and talking to it. I remember we had a Garmin that had we could turn it on and have it say British, and you'd have a British accent Garmin talking to you about making the next turn ahead.
You can do that with Siri, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
You can have it South
Choices
African
are
or
much limited versus what they used to be.
are they?
Yeah. I tried it. There's only like 4 voices for Siri now. At least
Yeah, I remember
I tried
that.
it the other day. I lost my good Aussie guy.
Oh, Dr. Danforth used to have a Garmin in his car. I used to take care of his computers at his office and his home, and he'd have his Garmin set for French because he'd like to practice. He could spoke fluent French, and he'd my feeling is if I turned that on, it would probably say, "You stupid American, you missed your turn."
The French don't have turns. You just go anywhere you want to.
True. Then they say about the French copies no one, and no one copies the French. They're very unique, but they have good wine, even though I can't drink it anymore.
And champagne.
Can't drink that either.
Probably never should have.
Yeah, well, no. Yeah, anyway, it's just what happens when you get up a few years and the warranty's out on the body, and then that's it. We have more doctor's appointments than we have anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all getting that way, except for Glenn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've had a few trials and tribulations lately.
The Mac will keep you young.
Well, I've got a 9-year-old that'll keep me young or kill me, one or the other.
Well,
Well, both can be true,
My wife and I swim at Wash U since I retired from there. I kept my membership up and I swim there 3 mornings a week, and the swim team's there. And you want to make yourself feel old, you swim next the lane next to the swim team, and they're just blitzing. And I used to be on a swim team in college more than 50 years ago, and but these but you get to talk with them, and they're exciting. The kids are they're excited about what they're doing and where they're going, etc. And of course, they're all in the social media right up to here. So, yeah. And I try and stay away from social media. Don't like it. A big waste of bandwidth. That's my feeling about social media.
Go.
You'll get no argument from me on that one, Charlie.
But it's just, yeah. I mean, and it's just you get into a silo, and people. I mean, I got some relatives that are they tell me that the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center, those buildings were blown up by the government. Don't you know that? I have proof, and I'm like, really?
People are so gullible, they just swallow anything they read online.
I mean, they give us DVDs that show this will prove. Just watch this. You try to watch it, and it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with these people? But I mean, that's when people fall down the rabbit hole. That's why you have to come up for air once in a while. I mean, there's so much of it out there, so much of it. I've got a refrigerator magnet that we bought I don't know, we were on vacation, and I really enjoyed looking at that on my refrigerator. It says, "You can't always believe everything that you read on the internet." Signed, Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we've done it for tonight.
Okay.
Any questions, comments? No? Then
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
thanks
all.
to everybody.
Thank
Come
you
back
guys.
for
Thank
December.
you for the people who've shown up.
Have a Thanksgiving. Good, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We'll see you in December.
Yes.
For sure.
Cool.
Good night.